Welcome to Connecticut Health and Wellness Practitioners YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to learn about what applied kinesiology is and how we could use it to uncover the blocks in our lives that are holding us back from living our best lives.
Consciously, we know what we want in our lives, in our health, in our relationship, and our finances, but we have trouble getting there. We use every effort that we can, self-care, journaling, meditation, to try and access what is holding us back, what is keeping us stuck in these areas. But we have trouble. So kinesiology is a wonderful way for us to access a part of our brain called the subconscious to really understand what is at the root cause and what's showing up in our energy field that we can shift. We have two parts of our mind that are very important. One is the conscious part and one is the subconscious or unconscious. The conscious part is the part of us that has goals. We want to get healthy, we want to make money, we want to have a beautiful relationship. And the conscious mind knows exactly what it is. It has the wishes, it has the desires. It might actually start to go into action to try and create these. The subconscious mind is so much more powerful than the conscious part of our brain. The conscious part of our brain processes 40 bits of information per second, while the subconscious processes 40 million bits of information per second. So that's 1,000,000 times stronger. And not to say that our conscious mind is not powerful, but there's so much underneath that hood of our car, right? We're more complex than a car, but it shows us that there is so much being held there from our life, from our past experiences, from stresses that we've had, from traumas that we've experienced, from life situations, from previous relationships. And so when we access this part, we can truly understand what is driving our behaviors at the conscious level and why we might be feeling stuck or blocked. There are many tools that we can use on our own without a practitioner to access the subconscious or unconscious. Things like walking in nature is an excellent way to just allow silence to be with you. We live in such a busy world that it's nice to just slow down, take a reflective walk, and at these times, thoughts and ideas might pop in that are coming from the subconscious. We can also do this through meditation. Meditation is very popular right now, and one reason is that we can be with ourselves. We can go inward and access this area that we sometimes are not friends with because we just don't have time for it. So the meditation allows for that. Another way that we can do this on our own is through journaling. We can sit down with a pen and paper and just free write for as long as we want to and allow whatever comes up to stream out of us. And this often brings up a lot of subconscious programming, a lot of subconscious things that will be brought to the light. And one other tool is affirmations. So back in the 70s, Louise Hay was popularized for connecting affirmations to different parts of the body and how affirmations can truly shift energy. So when we find an affirmation that we resonate with, this can actually help shift what's going on at the subconscious. An affirmation like, "I love myself," can bring forth a new understanding of ourselves and our relationship with ourselves. And when we can't access these areas, when these tools are not working their best, when we still feel stuck or blocked, then it's time for us to seek out a really good practitioner. And the best practitioners that I know of are the ones that are shining the light on what's going on at the subconscious, areas that we can't see ourselves, but the practitioner can see our blind spots. They can pick up on the areas that we just don't have a full understanding of, or we haven't connected the dots to really understand what's going on. And the patient himself or herself is the one that is actually healing. The practitioner is there to help guide that process, but they're not doing the work on the client or doing the work to the client. Instead, it's a work with process. It's more like a facilitation versus I'm healing and you're patient. And a good practitioner will help make you feel empowered. You'll step out of a session feeling on top of the world. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel calmer, you'll have more happiness, and you'll know that real deep work was done, but the work was done by you. It wasn't done by the practitioner. Applied kinesiology is also called muscle testing sometimes, and there are some practitioners who will call it signal testing, because when we put the emphasis on the muscle, we think that we have to have this powerful force when we're using applied kinesiology, but in fact, it's really just giving us a signal. So what applied kinesiology is it's a biofeedback tool that can be used to access the subconscious part of our system to let us know what's best for our body. Sometimes we don't know. And so by using something called applied kinesiology or muscle testing or signal testing, we can get yes or no responses from the body. We can get likes and dislikes from the body. We can get all sorts of different things. Let's talk a little bit about the history of applied kinesiology. It was developed in the 1960s by Dr. Goodhart. I love his name, right? Dr. Goodhart. And he discovered that there are electrical flows in the body, that the body is an electrical current. And so by pressing down on the arm or any joint, any sort of point in the body, we can actually get these yes or no responses or get this signal from our subconscious to let us know what's going on. He was a chiropractor, so a lot of chiropractors use applied kinesiology to see where a chiropractic adjustment needs to happen, or now today we can access all sorts of other things as well, such as food or environmental sensitivities, vitamin and mineral needs, health symptoms, even physical pain, emotional blockages like sadness, grief, stress, or traumas that can happen in our past, present, or future, the body's energetic system like our chi energy, our chakra system, and more, unhelpful behavioral patterns, and also our limiting beliefs, which are those affirmations that we talked about earlier. Applied kinesiology is actually very easy to use. When a client or a patient comes to see a practitioner, often the client will raise its arm just like this, and the practitioner will push down on the arm and give a little bit of, the patient or client will give a little bit of resistance as the practitioner will be pushing down. And if the response is weak, the arm will drop, meaning a no response. I do not like sugar. I do not like fluorescent lights. If it's a strong response, if it's something that the body likes apples, the body likes organic food, then the arm will stay strong. So that's the traditional way of testing. There's also something called self-testing, which can be done at home or by a practitioner as well through something called surrogation. And that testing is where the practitioner is using both hands or one hand to get a no or yes response. And the way that I do it is I put my fingers together and I put my right fingers together and I go through this area and I press and I get a yes response or I get a no response. And it takes practice, it takes some education to get there, but in general, that's the basis for it. You can also put your finger out like this and pretend that this is an arm and press down with a yes response or a no response. So the muscle testing will give us access to knowing if something is stressing the body out. One example is that fluorescent lights, as we know, can be tough on the body. There have been studies that have been done that have shown that these fluorescent lights can hurt our health in the long run. And so there was a practitioner that once took two sets of people. One set had been studying A Course in Miracles, which is a deep spiritual practice that people live by. And another group had not studied A Course of Miracles. Maybe they were doing some things on their own, but they hadn't dug deep into spiritual principles and values. The group that had done their inner work tested strong. They tested okay to the fluorescent lights. They were actually neutral to that experience, whereas the group that had not done A Course of Miracles actually tested weak. So there were two separate responses because one group had done their inner work and they had neutralized their experience to the fluorescent lights. They let go of their fear. They let go of the idea, the belief that fluorescent lights are bad, and they moved forward with their life, not letting the outside world control them. So again, when we're struggling in our life, when something is bothering us with our health or our relationships or our money, or even when we're procrastinating at work, this is like a mirror. It can show us so much about what's happening at the subconscious level. And by using applied kinesiology, we can actually dig deep and have fun with it. It doesn't need to be painful, this healing work, and understand what is holding us back, what is causing the block, what's causing something not to shift, what's causing the frustration. Is it emotions? Is it a belief? Is it a sensitivity? Is it, something in our outside world, or is it something that's going on in our inside world? There are so many questions we can ask with applied kinesiology, and it brings us into a greater understanding of ourselves. It allows us to empower ourselves, to grow, to evolve, and to be our best at every moment so that we can live with peace and flow all the time.